Finally ready to pack your bags for Tampa? Before you do, there are some secrets about the sunny city that might surprise you. Stay tuned to make sure you're not caught off guard during your big move. Hi, this is Miriana from Discover Tampa. We showcase Tampa's top food, lifestyle, real estate, communities, and more. Matt and I, we just moved to Tampa, and today we're gonna give you 10 things you need to know if you're planning a move here. I promise you, some of these things are going to surprise you. So let's get started.
All right, first step, you want to research Tampa. Okay, Tampa isn't just a city. There's a lot of different areas, from the beaches to the suburbs to the city itself. If you want to do research on that, Discover Tampa has an amazing video on the breakdown on all the different areas around Tampa, so you can decide which area might be the best fit for you. And I'll link that below in the description. In terms of the neighborhood you're looking to move into, research those as well. Each neighborhood's a little bit different. So whether it be like Hyde Park or Seminole Heights or Soho, each one has a different feel and character. And in general, Tampa's a pretty chill city compared to like Orlando and Miami. So just keep that in mind as well. If schools are an issue, you absolutely want to do research on that, because of course there's public schools, but Florida in general has a lot of private schools. So if that's something that's important to you or for your kids, make sure you look at what schools might be in the area you want to move. If transportation's an issue, research into the bus systems. Specifically in the city, it's the Hillsborough Area Regional Transit, or HART. That's going to tell you the bus schedule and how to get around the city. Okay, so the second thing you need to do is you need to plan your budget. Moving is expensive. And don't worry, we're going to put everything up on the screen so that way you don't lose track of everything. Okay, so here are some things to consider. First, professional moving services. If you've ever hired movers before, they're expensive, and you want to make sure they include the insurance, otherwise you have to pay for that insurance yourself. If something breaks during the move, you want to make sure it's covered. The second thing is packing supplies. And I'm talking about the things like bubble wrap, just boxes. Have you looked into what those things cost these days? They're actually really expensive. But a little trick, if you start saving all the stuff that you get from your Amazon packages, the bubble wrap, the big little foamy things that they come in your packages, save those now, and that'll save you a little bit of money when it's time to move. Third thing is storage. Depending on how long you might need to store your stuff when you're here, that is an expense that can actually add up pretty quickly. Fourth thing, travel expenses. These are the simple things, you know, gas, hotel, food, etc. That's really going to depend on how far you're moving from. Obviously, if you're just moving from one state away, this probably isn't a big deal. But if you're moving from California, this could add up, right? Then there's those unexpected costs, the things that you're really not thinking about a lot. This is things like, for example, if you are driving from California, you might want to get your vehicle serviced before you move from the place that you trust. And that's always, you know how it is with Murphy's Law, they always find something that you need to fix in your vehicle before you leave. Better to do that at the place you trust. But that's an expense that could add up there. If you have a lease right now that you need to get out of, or if you're ending an apartment complex, or even just moving out of your home, you might have to pay for cleaning services. And then of course, there's always that extra furniture you didn't think you were gonna need when you move in. That's a cost you might want to prepare for as well. Really, when it comes down to it, the average cost of a move is anywhere from around $2,500 to $5,000, depending on the distance and how much your stuff weighs. And one last thing to consider, the direction you're going matters too. This was a big surprise for me. I moved from Maryland to Florida, and when I was talking with the moving company, they were letting me know quotes, and it was significantly more expensive to move to Florida than it is to move out of Florida, because this is where most people are going. A lot of people are moving to Florida, so all the stuff movers need is already here. So they got to take an empty thing back to you to put your stuff in it, and they make sure you pay for that. So these are just some things to consider with your budget, because it can add up quickly.
Before we get to the third tip, I wanted to take a second to remind you to like this video if you're getting something out of it. I also know you want to help us growing this channel by taking 2 seconds and clicking that subscribe button below. I'll give you 2 seconds so you don't miss anything. Third, hire a reliable moving company and make sure they are insured and licensed.
Professional movers are reliable and have a ton of experience with long distance moves if needed. Get several quotes to make sure you have the best price, and then check the reviews to see what other people think about them as well.
The fourth tip is start packing early. Start packing way earlier than you think you need to, and take this time to sort, organize, sell, donate, or just get rid of stuff you don't need anymore. You'll be thankful because you won't actually have to move as much stuff. The key here is it takes a lot longer than you think it's going to take.
Number 5, connect utilities and services. You don't want to forget this. Power, water, gas are big ones. Internet is a close second, and it might take a little bit longer to schedule an appointment. Don't wait for the last minute, or you might be without Netflix for a few weeks.
Okay, so number 6 is update your address. You don't want to forget to update your address with the post office, your credit card companies, the bank, the insurance companies, or any of the subscription services that you have. Most of this stuff can be done online, but you want to give yourself at least 2 weeks to work with. The post office is great. If you go there, they have a whole process for forwarding your mail. That's pretty easy. But the one that's going to get you is the insurance. Call your insurance provider now. Make sure 1, they cover Florida, and 2, make sure you know what your rates are going to change to, because your rates will probably increase, and in some cases dramatically. It just really depends on where you're moving from. Make sure you check those rates first.
Number 7, plan your route. Don't just throw your address on Google Maps. Plan it before so you know where to stop if needed. I-75 and I-95 are heavily traveled, and they have a lot of amenities along the way for road trips. And when you get in the state, stop at the Florida Welcome Center. They have road maps for those who remember, they have sand pass for tolls, and fresh squeezed oranges for free.
Rule number 8, familiarize yourself with Florida's regulations and their rules. I'm just going to tell you right now, Florida's a little bit different, okay? Good chance their rules and regulations are different from where you're used to, all right? Let me give you an example. According to Florida law, you have to update and get a Florida driver's license within 30 days of your residency here, and your vehicle registration within 10 days of your residency here. And just to be clear, they define residency as moving in, starting work, or enrolling your kids in school. The key here is this. I can tell you when I did this, no one really asked me how long I had been here. I don't know if it's a big deal, but that's what it officially says. What I would tell you is if there's something specific you want information on, do your research first. Some of the big things like firearms laws, school districts, or hunting regulations, those are the kind of things I'm talking about. If there's something specific to you you want to know about, research first. Okay, so number 9, prepare for the weather. I know you're going to be surprised at this, but Florida is basically hot all the time. In the wintertime, highs are around 70. In the summertime, highs are around 90. And that's just how Tampa's going to be year-round, okay? Make sure you pack for that. Make sure you have the right clothes. You're going to want sunglasses. You're going to want sunscreen. These type of things are important. And although hurricanes are tracked, it is a factor. But just so you kind of have an idea, hurricane season is from June 1st to November 30th, but the peak season is mid-August to late October. So if you're gonna live and if you're moving close to the shoreline, just make sure you have some type of emergency plan in place. All right, so the last tip we're gonna give you is to get to know your community. And the best way to do that is to visit in person. If you visit that specific neighborhood, that's when it gets you an idea of who the people are, the restaurants, and just the overall vibe of the place you want to move to. Another thing you can do is there's a ton of online research you can do, plenty of websites for that. 2 that come to mind, City Data and NeighborhoodScout.com are great resources to get things like crime statistics, demographics, cost of living, and a lot more stuff like that, right? Another thing you can do is you can always check the local news. Check local newspapers. Most of them are online now. That's a good way to find out what's going on in the specific neighborhood you're concerned about. All right, so another great source of information is social media, of course, online forums, and I'm just gonna give you a shameless plug. Discover Tampa, that's us. Great place to start. But you can always join local Facebook groups, subreddits, things like that. Another great source of information are the locals themselves. If you get a chance, talk to people who actually live in the community. They'll give you all kinds of insider tips and share their experiences about living in the area. This one's kind of boring, but local government, this is a big one. If you check your local government's website, you're going to get information about services, new initiatives, and upcoming public meetings. And it may seem like a waste of time, but here's the thing. If there's a new school being built in your community, a new high school or something like that, that can really affect home values, things like that. You might want to know about that stuff before you move. And then the last is real estate professionals. Realtors and other real estate professionals can provide valuable insights about different neighborhoods and what it's like to live there. It's their job to actually know these things. In Discover Tampa, we have an amazing team of real estate agents that can help you out with your move. So if you have any questions about moving to the area, reach out. You can comment below, or you can check the About Us on our YouTube channel.
Alright guys, I know it was a lot, but there is a lot to consider if you're making a big move or even a little one. We hope this video has been helpful for you. And if it has, we'd appreciate you to like and subscribe to our channel. If you have any thoughts on how we can improve our content, please comment below. We always value and appreciate your feedback. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time back here on Discover Tampa.